All right. I'm realizing I just need to make videos on whatever my current conundrum is, whatever I'm honestly experiencing, because I have these ideas that come up and I'm like, oh, I want to make a video on that, and then it takes me a couple days to get around to it, and it's like not as fresh. I'm not experiencing it where I am right now, and when I'm in it, I can express it that much more clearly and truthfully, and more likely it's timed up with the collective consciousness. So if I express it soon enough, more people are also in that same field and can gain more from it. So expression. Even though I just said that I'm going to attempt to share an idea that I've been having over the last week, and it's just fantastic, super deep insight that is just changing my world. And it's nice to know things. It's nice to be certain to a degree. And for me, I have to reproduce the results repeatedly, very clearly, in a nice container without too many variables before I can really believe something is true. And even then I still question. It's good to question things. But, so, about a month ago now, I'd been really on the program of this intermittent fasting thing. Love fasting. I mean, I love food, and fasting is not easy, don't get me wrong there, but the results and the experience that you get out of fasting has been the number one thing for me. Nutritional fasting, I have to say. You're not lacking any nutrients at all. You're getting just enough calories, and you're giving your body plenty of time to cleanse and clear throughout the day, not overburdening it with the unnecessary. That's why fasting is so amazing. You could go on about it for hours. So anyways, about 3 weeks ago, I started waking up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had been really on this consistent fasting path because of that reason. Speaking to one of my mentors, Dr. Amin Ra, asking him about how long he sleeps, he expressed that he only sleeps 4 to 6 hours a night. And I was like, all right, is that something that is genetic? Has that always been a part of your lifestyle? And he said that it started happening about 6 to 8 months after he began his protocol. And I was extremely interested in that because I love staying up late, watching movies, going out, having fun with friends. And I also really love the morning time. Like, if I don't get up before the sun, I feel behind. So the early morning, if I get up real early and I have that time to myself to really collect my thoughts and start off my day slowly, the day is amazing. So I love the mornings and I love the evenings, and I've always been in this like pull of, oh, why can't I have both? And Amin's like, yeah, you can, or he does. And I was really interested in that, so that was enough. I was already into intermittent fasting, had been doing it more on than off over the year before that, so I had already had some previous adaptation to it. But so I really got on it for a period of months and really worked on dropping my calories down, because that's one thing where my game wasn't so tight, is still ingesting more calories than I needed, which directly relates to your sleep, which I found out in this recent experiments. So about 3 weeks ago, after a few months of really being on it, I started waking up at like 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still feeling like amazing. I'm not feeling tired. I actually feel lighter than I normally do when I sleep in so late. I have all this time in the morning for meditation, to clean, to take care of myself, to wrap my head around the day, and I was really excited about it. It was like 4 or 5 days in. I was like, all right, I can't get too excited. This might just be some fluke, some kind of crazy, random occurrence. If it goes for 3 weeks, I'll take it seriously. And it did. 3 weeks straight, I was waking up with an average of, between 5 and 6 hours of sleep. And so I was going to sleep at like 11, waking up at like 4. And yeah, it's awesome. Okay, so here's what I noticed. Here was the direct contrast that I've done a couple times since then to see what happens. I indulged for a period of days after that. For a couple days I had like really ritzy dinners and a couple margaritas and just really indulged in food, and instantly went back to sleeping like a normal person, or a muggle is how my brain put it. I woke up and said like, oh, you sleep like a muggle. because there's no magic in that. Muggles are people who don't have magic, by the way, in Harry Potter. And so yeah, it took me, after about 3 days of like overindulgence, started sleeping like normal again, and I felt like I lost this kind of magic and this feeling, this clarity that I also had because of that real clean line of fasting, having just enough. And it was like, it got me anxious. I was kind of scared that I had lost something awesome. And jumped right back on the train, got on with Ramadan, because right when I come back from my celebration, I was like, all right, this is the last night of celebration, because I just accomplished a really epic month. And so I celebrated for a few days, and when I was ready to get back on, it was actually the new moon and it was Ramadan. So I started with both of those things. So I had support from nature to get back on my track, and it only took 2 days until I was back to 6 hours of sleep. I have to say, I'm not trying to get up in any way. I'm not forcing myself to wake up. I'm not setting an alarm. I only get up whenever my body feels rested. I want to sleep as much as I can. I love sleep. This is in no way saying like I don't want to sleep or I don't want to eat food. I love both of them. I want the best of each of them, and no unnecessary sleep or wasted time sleeping, or food or wasted time eating. Sorry, yeah, check it out. I forget where I am sometimes. Jeez, so nice. Yes. Jeez. So, it's crazy. It feels so good, so light, and it's consistent, and it's lasted long enough for me to feel I can share it earnestly, honestly, that this is a result of that lifestyle. And so I've noticed 2 things that'll throw my sleep off. If I eat too many calories or have too much protein. So around like 40 to 50 grams of protein for me is enough. And if I eat over that, I'll sleep like a muggle again. And if I eat over 1,500 calories, 1,400 calories, I'll sleep like a muggle again. So it's this really fine line. Fasting really teaches you to become efficient. You don't have too much. And in the beginning, you don't even have too much energy, right? You're like, I haven't eaten, your body's adapting, you're tired. And so it's harder to move, it's harder to do anything. So that also makes you become more efficient. Like, how do you get your tasks done with just this much energy? You start to see all the places you're wasting energy in your life, all the spots of tension that you might be holding, that all of a sudden, hey, like, I'm gonna pay attention to that tension because it's wasting my energy constantly. And you start dissolving and digesting all of these unnecessary tensions, all of these unnecessary wastes of energy in your life, and you become more efficient. Your life becomes more elegant, right? The least amount of work to accomplish the greatest result. Wow, so that was a rant. And yeah, that's the point. The point is to rant because it feels good. Yeah, so I want to see if anybody else has experienced this. Like I said, it took me a period of months. I'd already been on the fasting for like a year almost, and really once I started to whittle it down, the whole sleep thing started happening, and that's been crazy fantastic. There's so much time in a day. When you don't spend how much time working for excess food, driving to get food, preparing food, and eating food, when you're doing that like 2/3 less a day, how much more time do you have? I'd say at least a couple hours. And when you're not, when you have 3 extra hours that you're awake a day, that's 5 extra hours a day that I feel that I have now to create, to do something. And another thing that happens when you're fasting, you start to see why am I eating? What am I really eating for? Once you've seen that you don't need that many calories to be fulfilled, to stay nurtured, why are you really eating? And then whenever you can't eat, what do you do with your time? We're so used to just using food as a way to use our time. So it makes you aware. So it makes you switch from being a consumer to a creator. You're aware that when you don't have something to do or you're bored, you go to consume something, and instead you begin to create things. fascinating. As I said, I could rant for hours on this. Hope there's some useful information somewhere in there for you guys. And please, if you have a similar experience, share it. Love it, super stoked on it. And lots of love. Aloha.